Hey everybody, it's JJ Conway. I am broadcasting to you clearly from a hotel room. I am at FinCon in Orlando, Florida, and it's been amazing, amazing, amazing. Tonight, for those of you who are new to me, this is our second Thursday. So this is our seven-figure business building. Sorry, we had an up level after last year, right? But this is our seven-figure business building, and today we're going to talk about getting paid to create. So last month, we did Get Paid to Create Part 1, and that went through the mechanics. We're going to summarize that for you today, and then we're going to go into Part 2, which is monetizing around your craft, okay? But before I get into that, I got to tell you about a couple of things. Y'all, I'm going to see if I can bring this up for you. I know I was totally fangirling today because I finally got to meet somebody who I have been listening to on the radio for almost 30 years. And those of you who are new to me and my body of work, you may not have heard of him, but for those of you who are part of the Building Wealth fam, or you've subscribed to my podcast and you've heard me mention Clark Howard so many times, let me see if I can show you this real quick. I was pleased as punch. Sometimes it got me thinking. We're gonna get to the Get Paid to Create. Now I gotta find my StreamYard link. Uh, Sometimes we get so caught up in the glitz and the glamour. And I thought to myself maybe about a year or two ago, when I thought about, okay, who do I really want to be like? What is it that I really want to do? And I thought about the people that had poured into my life. And I had never pursued any kind of mentoring or anything like that from Clark Howard, but I have spent money, and maybe you have too. I have spent money and time and energy pursuing people with high level coaching programs and certification programs and trying to do all these things and get their driplets and droplets of attention. And when the dust settles, find out that they weren't even people of integrity, or that I was chasing after going where I was just tolerated. And like Dr. Cheryl Wood always says, go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. And so that's something I had to learn to do in my life. And so last year, when I was really taking stock of who I was allowing to speak into my life, I realized I needed to go after the people that have been either alongside me all the way, like Clark Howard, or I needed to be part of and support monetarily the people that welcomed me. Like the very first time I had a mentoring session with Les Brown, he and John Tallarico welcomed me. And so I'm very excited that this weekend, Saturday, I'll be actually able to go and meet Les Brown in person. Look, I like to think that I've up leveled my life in so many ways, but I'm just so excited to be able to meet these mentors who have poured so much into me. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful conference. I've gotten to meet a lot of amazing content creators, got a lot of fantastic podcast guests coming up for you in season 4. Is it season 4 or is it season 5? I don't know. I gotta lose track, right? But let me tell you about something else. And I'm going to truth in advertising. I have not used this service. I don't know how good they are. I like the people, but liking the people is part of a funnel. Nice people, you sign up, that's part of the marketing funnel. So I don't know yet about the product. But I tell you what, today I got introduced to something called Kick. And Kick is let me see if I can put the code up here for you. Oh, I wrote on the card. Never mind. Kick is a bookkeeping program. So it connects to your bank. I went out to their website today. It connects to your bank, and they highlight and analyze your transactions and help you determine what's not taxable, or what's a tax deduction, what might be business, and all this other stuff. Because we really are supposed to separate our business and personal finances. But any entrepreneur knows that a lot of your business, sometimes even including your payroll, comes out of Hip National Bank, right? And so this is what they had: a bunch of money in a jar with cards, and I thought it was donations or something, like, put your donation in and get your dollar on the wall or something like that. And they're like, no, here, we're going to give you $10. This is the first $10 we're saving you. And I thought it was brilliant. I was like, talk about a nice marketing technique, because in order to, I can't ignore the $10. I can't ignore the card. I can't ignore the QR code that was on the front of it. I already wrote on it after I signed up for info sessions, so I would share it with you. But I just thought that was really, really phenomenal. And I knew somebody else who did something similar to that. She used her marketing dollars not to buy Facebook ads, although there's nothing wrong with Facebook ads, right? There's nothing wrong with Facebook ads. Uh, she didn't use them to buy, she didn't use them to buy Google ads, and there's nothing wrong with Google ads. But what she did was she took her marketing dollars and she began to pour into minority businesses. So she bought a cupcake and paid $500 for the cupcake. And she went here and patronized that business and paid, $500, $1,000, way more than the product was worth. Not just because she just had money to spend, but because she was sowing into these businesses, and in so doing she was then able to grow her coaching business. I've always thought that was one of the most impressive things. So Kick, my hat's off to you, because I'm never going to forget this $10. In fact, for those of you who've been with me since the beginning, I might just put this next to that jar of beads. For those of you who don't know about the jar of beads, the jar of beads, it was a fundraising thing for some of these missionaries. And I was at my General Assembly, and I'm going to represent it with my water bottle here. She took a mason jar. She hot glued a few flowers, like little Walmart fake flowers to it. They're like $1 a pick stem, and it's got like 5 or 6 flowers. She pulled a few petals off, hot glued it, filled it with a couple of beads, and put water in it, and called it a paperweight, and sold them for $5. And I didn't want to not support her, but I was like, I don't need this ugly old $5 thing. But because she was so ingenious with what she was doing, I was like, well, I'm going to support that. And I kept that thing on my desk for a long time. And I would talk about it in our classes. Like, if you ever feel like you can't make money in this country, let me tell you something. Anybody can make money in this country. And all it takes is some determination and a few good ideas. And I tell you what, this idea I love, love, love. Okay, so was that all the front matter that I wanted to talk about today? I want to welcome everybody who's on today. I appreciate y'all for being here. You don't know how much happy it is, how much it makes my heart swell to really be able to be with you, because wherever I'm at, there's always somebody who is trying to improve their life. And wherever I've traveled to, there's always somebody who's trying to make a difference. And wherever I travel to, there's always somebody who knows that they are called to live above the fray, or what I call the scribble scrabble of life that a lot of times we get stuck in. And so I'm very, very, very excited to be with you today. And what we're going to talk about for our main lesson today in our 7-figure business building is getting paid to create. Now, I want to make sure I qualify that, because I'm at FinCon right now. It's the largest financial influencer conference. It's absolutely amazing to be around people who so freely share how to grow their YouTube channel, how to grow their podcasts, how to grow their blogs, and how to make money doing it. Like my podcast and my YouTube channel, that the reason I have them is because of FinCon. And it's just such a blessing to be around like-minded, growth-minded individuals. And I got to speak on publishing. So it was a lot of fun. I got to speak about publishing and the things that I did right and the things that I did wrong. I was on a fantastic panel. And if you're interested in that, I'm telling you, get with me later. I will get you the link where you can buy the replays of this conference, because this panel was on fire. They discussed tactics that I've seen people have to pay thousands of dollars for. So, and you would only have to pay, I think it's like $200 or something like that for the replays. I'm not a salesperson. I am not on the FinCon staff, but if you know somebody on FinCon staff, you can put in a good word for me. I will certainly volunteer. I had fun volunteering today. All right, let me pull up those slides. I had a lot of fun volunteering, and I didn't realize it when I signed up to volunteer. I just wanted to help out a little bit, because I've gotten so much out of this. Oops, clicked the wrong button. I've gotten so much out of this share screen. That's what I wanted. Out of this conference over the years. And when they said they needed volunteers, I was like, well, you know what? I've got a little bit of time. Oh, I didn't show y'all my picture of Clark Howard. Did I show y'all my picture of Clark Howard? Hold on. That's my picture of me with Clark Howard. Look at me cheesing. Look at me cheesing like a fangirl. I I was trying to be cool. You know how they say when you get there, when you get to the end zone, you're supposed to act like you've been there before, right? But I couldn't help it. I've been listening to this man since I took my very first butter bar lieutenant job in Melbourne, Florida, right? So I was just like, oh, and everybody else as we were walking out after he spoke. I'll just tell you this real quick while I pull up the slides. Everybody else that we were with, they're like, hey, this, and this. And let me give you my card. And let me tell you about my business. And I just said something about the military because I know that he's in the guard. And he started talking, and it was just so cool. It was really a surreal moment to the voice that I have heard on the radio for almost 30 years and on this podcast now when I walk to just hear it in person and to know that I've got him talking to me, and I love that. I know people probably think it's kind of silly, but like I'll never forget Dr. Robert Cialdini. He had done a thing, and we were all taking pictures with him, and he was just stoic and just stone faced, like he was just. I'm here. You're paying me to be here. And I got up to him, and in my picture, he is laughing. He's got this wonky smile on his face. It's probably why he's so stone faced. I should probably try that more often too, because I got kind of a wonky speaking face as well. But what I said to him was when I got up there, and what I said to him surprised him, and you would be shocked. I'm gonna pause this story for a little bit. I want you to put in the chat what you think I said to Dr. Robert Cialdini that made him break the stone face and chuckle in our picture. Okay, go ahead and drop that in the comments if you have an idea. And Dennis, I'm not sure what you mean about does she have a nonprofit? Did you mean the lady with the jar? Did you mean the lady with the jar with the beads in it, or did you mean the guys who are behind the Kick? The Kick thing. Kick is a company. They do bookkeeping services. The lady with the jar with the beads in it, calling it a paperweight, selling it for $5, which this was 15 years ago. So $5 was a lot of money 15, 20 years ago. She was a missionary in our church. And so she was raising funds. And a lot of times we think, oh, well, if you're raising money for church, that's an easy give. Actually, it's the opposite. People are so jaded by religion. Ooh, they don't want to do that. You know what? That is not what I'm here to talk about today. All right. Let me put oh, no, I don't want to remove it. Add it to stream. There we go. Okay. So today we're going to talk about getting paid to create. And like I was starting to say, when I got sidetracked by the fact that I hadn't shown y'all my Clark Howard picture, that when I'm talking about creating today, I am going to actually talk about YouTube and blogging and all that stuff. But that's not the kind of creator that I'm talking to. So let me kind of level set the playing field today and explain oh yes, oh my goodness, yes. Her name is Laditra White, and she is the Awesome Life. I think her email is Laditra at Awesome Life Ministries. Hold on, you know what? Awesome Life Ministry at gmail.com. That is how you get a hold of her. Okay, let me put that in the chat for y'all. Hey, and if somebody knows her, if you could, oops, I did it too soon. live on TV, y'all. I know, I mean, on a live stream. I'm going to put her name in here. If y'all know her, go ahead and tag her so she can come back and watch. This. Okay. All right. So thanks. Great question. I'm really glad that you brought that up. Let me see if I can put that up here. There we go. All right. Yeah. Amazing woman, has really up-leveled a lot of minority businesses, teaching people how to get government grants, teaching people how to really elevate their business, coaching. I mean, just impressive person. Okay. So we are going to talk about podcasts. We are going to talk about blogs. We are going to talk about things like that today, but that's not what I mean by create. So just to level set the playing field, what I mean by creating is I'm talking to makers. I'm talking to creators. So like in my sense, what do I like to make? I like to write. I like to create courses. I like to design. My graphic design skills are a little outdated. I'm coming to learn that, but I like to create. Sometimes it's more fun for me to create the course than it is to deliver the course. And for other people, they like to create, they like to knit, they like to paint, they like to design, they like to build. Makers, creators. Okay. So that's who I'm talking to. And in today's world, it can be really difficult to make a living through creating things because there's so much mass production, especially I shouldn't say in today's world. Let me qualify. I'm mainly talking about the United States. Okay. So let's just be real about that. I'm talking about the United States. When you have a big company that can go offshore, produce something super cheap and bring it back here and sell for $10 what it takes you 20 or $30 and 20 or 30 hours to create, it's going to be very, very hard to compete. So if you're in that category, I encourage you to go to last month's broadcast. It's still up actually. I need to pull it down. But I'm going to be traveling to one more trip. So you at least got 1 week before I pull it down. Go out to Get Paid to Create Part 1, and it's going to walk you through all of that. Okay. And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the other half of creating. So that one was, I'll do a little summary of it. We're going to do a little summary of, oops, did I forward the slide? Nope, I sure didn't. We're going to do a little summary of what we talked about last month. But then I'm going to really spend money on not the craft, not making the craft itself, but other things you can do around that craft, ancillary to that craft that will allow you to profit. Okay. So, who am I? That's always a great question. Like, who am I and what right do I have to talk to you about all this stuff? Right. Many of you may not know I came home from a military trip to find my house sold, my stuff thrown out, and $845,000 of divorce debt in my name. And, I'm thinking it's all right. I got this. I can take care of it. It's no worries. I got this. I got this. Right. Except that in order to generate that kind of money in the timeline that I had till retiring from the Air Force, you pretty much got to be in sales and you got to be really good at matching people's needs to what you have to offer so they'll pay you money for it, right? But that wasn't who I was. And I failed miserably when it came to trying to do things that helped me to succeed. Okay. And so I take those lessons and I work with clients now to learn how they can get paid to create if that's their skill set, their talent, their gifting. Okay. So, two things I'm going to guarantee for you today. I'm going to teach you something in this class that you can use right away. Even if you never pay me another cent, even if you never PayPal me a donation for my Global Youth Initiative, you'll be able to take what I use today, give you today, and you'll be able to implement it. I am also going to give you an opportunity to dig deeper and either learn more about yourself or also go through a particular class that will help you to be able to better connect with people and match their needs to your offering so you can exchange and meet their needs in exchange for their money. All right. Okay. Now, I do want to summarize really quick what we talked about in part 1. It's a fantastic video. For those of you who haven't seen it, let me just give myself my own plug, right? Um, that was a recording that we did in a live class in the Pierre Bourget Mall. And it was such a good recording. And I was traveling. So I said, well, rather than try to reteach this and re-record it, let me just go ahead and rebroadcast that and had all of the questions that people asked in the class, which was a lot of fun. Okay. But just to summarize, there's two big things you got to do when you have a crafty business. So you're either designing something like clothing or purses or hats or scarves, or you're doing the cups, or you're doing whatever it is, you're making the jewelry, whatever it is that you're doing, you're building robots, you're building cars, you're whatever it is that's a crafty kind of thing. Actually, this slide applies to every business, really, but especially when it comes to making money doing something that you love, because you love it, and you could tend to do like I do and put more time into it than is warranted for the price you can get from it, and then get frustrated. Anybody else ever been there? I still don't see any drops in the chat on what I might have said to Dr. Robert Cialdini. So I'm just going to dangle that one out there. Somebody gives me that, I'm going to give you a free seat in what I'm going to announce at the end. So give it some thought. Give it some thought. All right. Any business that you have, especially when it comes to a crafty business, you've got to find your sweet spot. Now, I've been teaching this for a very long time, mainly because I learned it myself through the school of hard knocks and 17 different businesses that I started till I found the one that currently sticks, right? That's been sticking for 8 years. So I think we'll roll with it. But this is actually not my own concept. It's the Japanese concept of Ikigai. And I didn't know that when I started teaching it. Okay. Um, and so it's really, you got to find out something that you love and that you're passionate about, because your passion will carry you through the tough times. It's got to be something you're good at. And sometimes we're really passionate about things that we are not very good at. We might think we're good at it, but the results might indicate that we're not good enough at it to make it in money out of it, right? It's also got to be something that people need. I'm going to be the first. Well, I'm going to be the first to tell you right now that I am very, very good at a lot of things that other people don't need and they aren't willing to pay for. So you got to be good at it. You got to love it, and you got to have others need it, and they got to be willing to pay for it. Okay. Sometimes people are willing to pay for something simply because they love you and they want to sew into you. That is not always a sustainable business. That lady would not have been able to take those water, I don't know what you call them, paperweights. Well, no, what do you call those things? When you shake them up, snow globes. I think that's what she was calling it. She wouldn't have been able to go to a trade show and sell those. She sold them in a church environment because she knew we all cared, right, about missions. So you gotta be kind of careful about that. You gotta find something where all four of those come together. But even when all four of those come together, especially when you've got a crafty business, oh my goodness, sometimes it's hard to communicate the value. So it's very, very important that you communicate how you solve somebody's pain point with what it is you offer. You got to communicate it. Maybe you don't solve a pain point, but maybe you enhance somebody's reputation, their success appearance, and things like that, or maybe even helping themselves feel better about life. And so once you figure out what lane that your offering fits in, then you practice telling that story nice and quickly. And I give you some tips in part one on how to do that so that you can get real confident about asking for the sale, and then also honoring what you've been talented and gifted to do. I know that there's things that I've been talented and gifted to do that aren't necessarily profitable right now. They may have been profitable 10 years ago, and they may be profitable again soon, but today they may not be very profitable. So those are things that I could either choose to put on the shelf or add into my volunteer life, right? So, but we want to understand that there's an ebb and a flow. Just because you make an amazing, beautiful dress for little girls, I'm not gonna maybe you spend $100, 100 hours on that dress and $50 worth of material. Well, I'm not necessarily gonna pay you 90 for it because I can get a comparable dress at Walmart for 10. And how would you sell me on that $90? Well, you would have to solve my pain point. You would have to enhance my standing, as a logo or something like that. Or you'd have to help me feel better about myself. Maybe your stuff is organic and it's all responsibly sourced. And so maybe I feel better about buying your $90 dress instead of getting the $10 one from Walmart, which is probably not. I'm not saying it isn't, but it's probably most likely not sustainably sourced. So, or another one is customization. And so we had a huge discussion about customization. Customization sells. I'm not going to go pay $40 for a standard off the shelf wreath. But when when I was in Shreveport, they had a really amazing wreath designer. Her name was, I think it was Tamara White. And whenever I needed a special wreath, she made me the most beautiful Steelers wreath. And I was willing to pay money for that thing because you couldn't find that in Louisiana, right? All right. So I hope that's a great summary for you of what part one of this was about. So what we're talking about today, that was making money with your craft. This today we're talking about making money around your craft. Okay. So you might be in the same boat that I used to be in when I was making more things that would be sellable as opposed to the service that I provide today. A lot of makers will go to trade shows and try to just sell direct to the client. And a lot of people make good money doing that. I was very impressed at the little the little Stephenville Farmers Market when I participated earlier this summer, and I hope to do so next month. I'll finally be back home and my travels. it was very impressive to watch how people sold out of the baked goods and the lotions and all the things. And I was like, wow, I'm so excited because y'all know I love entrepreneurship. So for me to see that in my new town, I was just like, I love it, right? So some people make a lot of money a lot easier, but you know what? I never did seem to make money very easy. So I'm going to give you an example of something. Okay, this did not last very long at all. Okay, because I realized this was better as a nonprofit than it was as a sales thing. But I was always I was having these retreats, and we would make these inspirational rocks. And I thought, well, you know what? Somebody's going to want this on their desk, right? So aren't they beautiful? Y'all see these rocks? Let me make sure y'all can see these rocks. Hold on. Y'all see how beautiful these rocks? Oh, that's not even much bigger. Okay, aren't those beautiful? They have such good little sayings on them. Like my favorite one, the one I keep on my desk. My past does not determine my future. I do. I love that one, right? And so this is from one of my retreats. These are the rocks that we made. I mean, they're beautiful, right? But no one's going to pay me for that rock. No matter how beautiful it is, I might get somebody to give me $1 for it. But you know what? For $2, you can buy paint and make your own rock because those aren't even very fancy. Those are people with no artistic talent. So what can I do? How can I make money around this? I love painting rocks. Right now, now I'm making an example of this. I know it's a little bit facetious, but I want you to understand. Yes, sir, they are precious. And if you go to my 22 rocks page, you'll see why they're so precious to me. Um, but can I make money around something like this that I love to make and won't sell? Okay. Can I make money around this rock? Well, why? Yes, I can. How can I make money around this rock? Whatever your craft is, we're going to let it be represented by the rock, but you can also make money around your craft with what I call ancillary services. Now, if you've been in my real estate class, you have heard that term before, ancillary services. It's stuff that you make money off of that relates to real estate, but it's not real estate. So in real estate, ancillary services would be things like vending machines and ATMs. Here with this craft, might be Amazon, YouTube, teaching people about it, encouraging people to do it, showing people how to hold their own retreats, and blogging about the rocks and things like that, taking pictures of your favorite ones and blogging about the meaning, okay, things like that. So these are what we're going to talk about today. But no matter what you do, it's very important that you figure out what your niche is for each ones of these lanes and streams of income. They don't have to be the same niche for everything, okay? But you need to have a focus because this is a hyper focused, oops, went the wrong way. This is a hyper focused environment. You're not just going, you're answering a very specific need. Encouragement, I need something to do. I'm struggling with this or that. One of the ladies who helped me paint this, she was going through brain cancer treatment at the time, and so it was very special to all of us, the rocks that she painted, and the therapeutic value of that. Okay, so you really want to understand what's your niche, what it is that you're doing that meets somebody in their heart or in their ego or in their whatever it is that meets a need for them, right? And so you've got to understand what it is you're going for and focus your content that you create around your craft that you create on that niche. Okay, so I have YouTube in here, and it's funny, I was going to delete this because this is the original slide from when I first created this class back in 2018. And maybe about 3 years ago, it was before the pandemic, so it might have been in 2019. But before that, YouTube changed their thing. I was making a good amount of little money from YouTube with like 88 subscribers. I didn't even have, what does this say here? This says here, oh, this doesn't even show it, but look at this. I didn't even have that many people on there, but I was making money. I didn't have average view was like 10 per video, and I was making this money, right? And I was gonna delete it because it's not applicable anymore. YouTube has changed the things, but I just wanted to show you. I was like, look at these dates and stuff. I'm so glad I captured that. The way YouTube does it now is you've got to have a lot more going on. And so is this the one that I want? This is the dashboard that you get. I've got 5,550 subscribers because of all the speaking engagements that I've had in the last couple of weeks. I guess I've gained quite a few more. They can show you your whatever your top ones are. My top video of all time still remains this Lithonia lighting replacement that I did. It has nothing to do with money, but people, that's one of the few emergency lights, and people always look it up. All right. And so Worms in the Keurig, that gets a lot too. This one down here. So this is the dashboard you get, but I can't even monetize anymore. I got a notification that was like, hey, you're not getting paid anymore until you meet all of our new requirements. So if you're looking at YouTube, I don't want you to get discouraged if you say, well, I can't get paid on YouTube, so what can I do around it? Okay. Because like here, I've got the subscribers, I've got the I don't have any copyright strikes against me, but in spite of all the things that I do on YouTube, even my big conferences, right? Like my Juneteenth conference, the Women Building Wealth Together Summit, even with all of those things, I still only have 2,500-ish public watch hours, and you got to have at least 4,000. Okay. So that's something, that's one of the things I'm here at FinCon to learn is how do I get that up? How do I get people to stay engaged and watch more of the stuff? Because it seems like they go in, they watch the speaker that they like from the conference, and then they might watch one more, but then they don't watch the whole thing. So that's something that I'm working on. So what can you do? Can you still make money around it? Sure you can, because you can. I am missing a slide. Okay, I am missing a slide on here, so we'll put it back here. You can still make money by sponsorships. You can insert your wares as commercials. You can use YouTube as an avenue, just like a podcast. You can use YouTube as an avenue to meet people where they are and let them know about what you offer. Okay, all right, all right. So that's YouTube. And again, even if you don't meet us, I make a lot of money through people watching my YouTube, not necessarily through YouTube, because they watch YouTube and I build a link. So, you know, when I give you all my JJC link, you know, I can, there's times and things where I can track who's clicking on what, how they click on it through to the thing. And I can tell they came from YouTube, or they came from the broadcast, or they came from this, or they came from that. Okay. And so that's one thing that you can do. Another thing, and this is one that I love because it's free to sign up, and YouTube's free as well. It's free to sign up, and it's really easy because you're already on Amazon. Most of your friends are already on Amazon. And so Amazon has what they call an affiliate program. And what it is when you tell a friend about something on Amazon, if you're in this program, and you use a special link that tells Amazon you're in this program, they will send you like 0.5%, up to 1%, sometimes up to 3% of the purchase price of whatever your friend bought. Okay. So in a sense, you know, it's almost like you're being a mini salesperson for Amazon, but it could be as simple as telling somebody about something that's on your wish list. You know, we all build these wish lists. No, we don't all, but many of us build these wish lists in Amazon. Well, what about building it on a web page and putting a affiliate link in there? I'll show you what that looks like in a second. The reason affiliate programs work is because friend testimonials, the number one way to get people to buy. If I tell you I like something, you're more likely to buy it than if you just see some schmo on the street that says buy this. Okay. And so I love the Amazon program because it is easy to use and it doesn't cost you anything. And unlike so many buying clubs that you hear about, the prices aren't inflated. So the price that your special link takes them to is the same price that the normal Amazon search result would take them to. So that to me is a win-win. Okay. So I've got an example here. If you go to jjconway.org, okay, if you go to jjconway.org, you're going to see that I have this list about halfway through my page. I've got this list of books I wrote, and then under that, some of my courses, and then I have relationship, spiritual, business books, and each one of those links is an Amazon link. So remember, we're talking about the rock painting, right? How can I make money off the rock painting? Well, I've switched the rock painting. I've learned after about 1 week that nobody was buying these rocks. So I'm not going to try to sell the rocks. I'm using them as 22 rocks. So in case you've never heard of that, what we do, just a little public service announcement. We hold events for veterans where they can come in and paint the rocks, and we paint them. We talk about while we paint. We have a little something, some munchies and things, and then we go place the rocks. And when we place the rocks, there's a lot of therapeutic in taking the rock and placing it for someone else to find. And it's always very cool when we go on these hikes and we place these rocks. When we come back, if there's other people out on the trail, you will see that so many of the rocks are gone by time you walk back. By time you walk down to where we're going and then come back, a lot of the rocks are gone because people are inspired by that. And so then that helps me uplift other veterans. So it's a fun thing, not a money-making thing, right? So, but on my website, what do I have? I have a link that says rock painting kit. And then underneath the arrow, you can't see it, but it says also go to 22 rocks. And it links you to our Facebook page. And when you click that link, it goes to Amazon. You can see all these different rock painting kits here. You click on one, you buy it. This one's $14. Amazon might give me 50 cents for sending you there. The other one's $24. Amazon might send me $1 for sending you there. And that sounds like it's very little, but it adds up over time. Okay. And so another thing that you can do with Amazon is you can post links in your social media. And so maybe you have a craft that's, somebody I was working with had therapeutic art. So she had a therapeutic art, okay? That was her craft. But what she could post on her Facebook page or her Instagram, I don't think Instagram was big back when I first started working with her, but what you could do on the Instagram, on the Facebook page or in her emails is put links to other therapeutic books like what you see here. These are, you see here, the Why Does He Do That? Inside the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men, okay? Or maybe you don't have a craft that lends itself to a book, but maybe you're teaching other crafters. So maybe you have a quilting group, or maybe you have a writers group, or maybe you have a painters group or something like that. And you're trying to help people improve their lives as being a member of the group. Well, then you might link to something that's an up-leveling book, like there's a leadership book here, okay? So you can link to different things. You want to relate it to your craft. Otherwise, it seems scammy and salesy, like, okay, why why is the holiness preacher posting all this stuff about weed and CBD oil and and bongs and things like that? Like that would be inconsistent with who I am, right? Or if I'm just posting all kinds of random stuff, well, that's not going to help. You could do that, but if you want to make money around your craft that still solidifies you as the go-to person for somebody who does that craft, then these are the kinds of tactics that you can use. The go-to person for t-shirts. Maybe you're always posting about new techniques. And hey, if you ever wanted to try and do this, let me not get ahead of myself. I'll get there. Zip it back in. Okay. Here's some more examples. These aren't crafty things, but if you sell models, you could link to some others. If you sell if you sell costumes, you make costumes for cosplay and things like that, you could link to videos and things on Amazon that relate to what you create. Ooh, I like that. That sounds nice. Relate to what you create. Ooh, y'all, that's a bumper sticker, okay? This is an example. This is again, this was from 2018. I should probably update this slide because it's a little more now. Like, I didn't realize the dollar amounts when I was reviewing the slides for tonight. I'm a little embarrassed right now. But this was 2018 when I was first getting into all of it. And like, wow, I'm making money. Okay. But you can see this, it's not a whole lot, right? It's not a whole lot, but it's a little bit each day. So from here we had 5, that's 55. So maybe about 60 if I add that together, maybe 70 clicks if I add all that together. And oh no, that's the fees. 25 cents, 20, maybe 30 cents, 20. Let's call that 50 there. And then this is 2. So let's call this total $3 for 40. Let's call that 70-ish. So just maybe about 150 clicks, $3. You say, well, that's not a whole lot. Well, it is if you get 1,000 clicks a week. 1,000 clicks a day. I know people that I've shown how to do this and they make several $1,000s a month with it, because they were already posting things. Okay. And so you can kind of get an example. It does take a lot of clicks to get where you want to go, but it gets you further than if you weren't doing anything. And again, if this isn't just about your craft. Okay. So the first section of this talk that was aired last month is about the craft itself. This is about things you do around the craft that solidify you as the craft. If every day all you post is pictures of the hats you crochet, people are going to get tired of seeing just the hats that you crochet, and they're going to begin to ignore your Facebook page, your Insta page. But if they see a hat today and they see a link to a product tomorrow and they see that you're holding a class the next week, and they see some rotation, it keeps things fresh and exciting and interesting. Okay. So here's also, you can always look for other things that you buy. We did a whole class on affiliates, so I'm not going to go deep into this today. But if you do like things, always scroll down to the bottom and see if they have an affiliate. I've gotten so many free things and money from companies where I might have bought something one time, but it was a value and I shared it with others and got a percentage of that. Okay. This is another example. This website actually got taken down about 3 months ago because I forgot to pay my renewal bill. But up until then, this was generating. I think by the time it closed down, it was generating maybe about 150 to $200 a year. But the last post was back in 2013 because I started a new blog, and foolish me, I didn't know how to port the old blog to the new one. And I kept saying, I'll get somebody to do it. I'll hire somebody to do it. And then I never did. And then I forgot to pay the bill. And then it got cut off. So it's gone now. It was like 300 articles that I had written over the space of a few years. And don't do that. Okay. So note to self, don't do that. But the ads on it kept making money. That's really what I wanted to point out. Okay. And so I don't know why I had this one here. This is the new one, but we're doing a new one. So it's coming out soon. I'm so excited, y'all. Ooh, I'm so excited. You're going to love it. Okay. So you could work, you can work links in there. You can blog. Oh, that's why I had this in here. So embarrassed. Look, y'all, look, it's been a long day. I enjoyed teaching today. I enjoyed interfacing with the audience, but I'm pretty spent, if you guys couldn't tell. Okay, the reason I had this on here is because blogging is one of the things you can do around your craft. All right, so blogging is one of the things that you can do around your craft. And so this is not necessarily a craft blog, but you can do something around your craft. And if you don't have a craft that lends to blogging, okay, so like for example, if I'm talking about knitting hats, there's only so many things that you can talk about with relating to knitting hats in a blog before you really lose a lot of people that might buy your hats. Now you might get other knitters, but they would be in competition with you, right? And so I'm always looking to collaborate. But if I've got a blog about knitting hats, then maybe I put in an article about how this house in Detroit burned down and the firefighters brought hats that were knitted by volunteers. And I talk about that in that blog. And so maybe a couple times a week I show my new project, or if I've done a special order for somebody, and then I pepper in these other public interest things. And then now I have some content that's drawing in new people that are going to turn into customers of my craft. All right. The next one I want to talk about is teaching your craft. And this is one of those things that I really wish I would have discovered earlier. I'm glad I discovered when I did. As you see, there's nothing that stops me from teaching when it's time to teach, even if the baby is hungry. I will teach on vacation. I will teach on location. It is my vocation. Look, I was inspired by Dr. J yesterday. Let's see what else can we do. Location, vocation. We'll get something. But you can teach your craft. And so you might say, well, who wants to do this or who wants to do that? Well, you would be surprised at how many people don't know how to do what you know how to do. And I'm always surprised at that myself, because I always consider myself ever learning. I am a constant student. I'm always trying to go to higher heights. And Sometimes I forget that what I've learned over these last couple of decades is valuable information that others haven't learned yet. And so to you, knitting the hat may be so easy and it may be so quick, but to somebody like me who's never done it, doesn't necessarily have good hand-eye coordination. Clearly, this is not an athlete's body, right? I might like to learn. And so sometimes we can put together classes to teach people. Another thing we can do, and I don't know if I have that on the slide. No, I don't. Okay. I will make a note to add that next time. Okay. I'm going to make a note to add that next time. So you could teach people how to do what you do. You could also, this is in my Grow Your Own Money Tree class, and it's also available free on my Vimeo class on 12 ways to replace your income in just a year, so that you can quit your job. So you can find that for free on my Vimeo channel, JJ Knows the Way. But we go into more detail there about courses. And so, if you have, like, you're into photography, and you don't really want to teach people, but you want to keep learning, but you can't afford to go to the top-notch classes or to buy the top-notch equipment. But what you could do is get together another group of photographers, or get together another group of artists, or get together another group of knitters, or get together another group of fill in the blank, bring them to town, sell tickets for those events. You say, oh, well, I don't want to do all that. But you might find that it's more profitable than sitting in a trade show all day long in the heat trying to sell your wares, your craft that you poured so much love and attention to. And people look at it like they don't want to pay the price that was worthy of your time. Okay. Webinars like this has become more popular since the pandemic, so that's something a lot of us are familiar with. But never discount yourself. There's always a way. Sometimes the way for you, it looks different from the way for me. Sometimes the way for you looks different than the way for me, but there's always a way. There's always a way for you to succeed. And if you haven't found it yet, then that means that it doesn't mean you give up. It means you keep looking. There's a little proverb, that not a proverb like a scripture, but there's a little saying that people have that, everything works out in the end. And if it hasn't worked out yet, then it's not the end. And so don't give up. Okay. I encourage you to be authentic in what you teach. I teach a lot of classes on real estate. I don't teach as much on crafting or writing like I used to, just because I don't do as much of it as I used to. But I teach on real estate and other things like that. But there's always that temptation to inflate what you're doing, right? Make it seem more woo. But the honest truth is if you had the woo, you probably wouldn't be there teaching, right? But a lot of people find that they make more money teaching than they actually make with their specialty. Okay. And so with teaching, you can also maximize the other things that we talked about tonight. Okay. So that's actually the content that I have for you today. I hope that you really enjoyed that. I am so looking forward to when I can have these classes in person again, so that we can sit down and workshop, and I can look over your shoulder and we can draw things out and use the big paper. And I know everybody during the pandemic did a lot of Zoom classes, and we all got together and we coached on Zoom and we walked through things on Zoom and we vision boarded on Zoom. But I am a tactile, visual person. I want to take your stuff and I want to write over your shoulder, and I want to take my 40 different colored pens and draw this line here and draw that line there and make these connections. And that's just how I think. So I'm really looking forward to that. And if that's something that you're interested in, then I'm going to encourage you to stay on for just another 2 or 3 minutes, because I want to give you an opportunity to dig a little bit deeper into what we're talking about today. Okay. But first of all, did I give you something you can use? Is there anybody out there that can use what I gave you tonight? I believe there is. I believe there is. And so let me talk to you a little bit about 2 opportunities to dig deeper. And what the first opportunity is a way to really kind of understand how you come across to others. A lot of times we take these personality assessments, and we're like, well, that's not really me. Well, this one is based on DISC. It's a form of DISC, and what it does is it tells you. Oh, I should probably get on that slide. What it does is it tells you what your behavior says about you to others. And a lot of times, I know for myself, my behavior didn't say to others what I wanted it to. My behavior said to others something that was inconsistent with who I thought I was. And if you're in business, your behavior attracts certain people and repels certain people. And my behavior was repelling the kind of people that I needed to get where I want to go in life and where I feel like the Lord has called me to go. And so that's why I believe that I was led to these different kinds of personality assessments so that I could really see the impact on some of the things that I do. For example, I'm gonna make myself big on this one. For example, one of the values in our society is to be independent and march to the beat of your own drum and don't follow the herd. That's what we say. Those are things that come out of the mouth of all the actors and the actresses, and that's a theme in all the kids shows, and that's a theme of all the literature we learn in high school and college. Like, yeah, be you, right? No one else, be you. You're be the best you can be. There's nobody else who can be you. But that's not how life really works. And I was in air war college when I found out that that's not valuable. When you are a person who is going to think outside the box and be a creative problem solver, sometimes that sends a message to people that you're a maverick and you're Machiavellianist and you're going to do your own thing and you don't care what they think or what they do. I am going to do my own thing and I really don't care what you think or do, but I'm not ever going to do it and try to hurt you. I'm the kind of person that wants to help everybody. I want to lift people up, but my behavior didn't say that to them. Because in our social construct in this culture, the behavior of people who do their thing, whether regardless of what society thinks is right, those are troublemakers. There are people that'll stab you in the back. No, I'm not going to stab you in the back. Does anybody? Now, I know nobody on here can say that I ever stabbed them in the back. I will take down before you say I stabbed you in the back. Now you could say that I was a little harsh. You could say that I was a little critical. You could say that I did not allow the Lord to help me season my words with grace because sometimes I'm still learning how to season my words with grace, right? So you could say those things, but you would never say that I stabbed you in the back. But that's the image that sometimes people give off. So when I learned that in Air War College, it was a real shocker to me to see how I appeared to others. And that's why I was so happy to be able to bring this to you because you could have the most amazing product and you can take it out to this trade show with 10,000 people walking past your booth, and if you're not presenting yourself the way they need, that if you're not representing your brand well, or if you're not presenting yourself to the public the way that they need you in order to want to buy your stuff, well then that could hinder you and you might not even know why. You might not even know why. All right, now you're gonna like this next one, my brother. You're gonna like this next one. I think if you need to, you start with that one. But this is the next one. This is the next one that I had on that list, and y'all saw me on that. Y'all saw me in that slide holding the book. We got a new version of the book coming. I'm gonna show you a sneak peek of that on the next slide. But the second way that you can dig deeper costs a little bit more, but I've got a wonderful coupon for you, is our self-image rising course. And that is an 8-week class. It's already pre-recorded. You'll get a drip and you'll get opportunities to book mentoring time with me. And this one goes through the structure of our self-worth. And so the subtitle for this one is Grow Your Net Worth by Growing Your Self-Worth. And as you walk through the exercises, you'll learn how to use your God-given faculties of imagination, of vision, of purpose. You'll be able to use those faculties of your mind to be able to really shake free of the things that have been holding you back. It's based on the work of Dr. Maxwell Maltz. Now, are you ready to see a sneak peek? Are you guys ready to see the sneak peek? Here comes a sneak peek of what's coming out very soon. Now you can tell that this is a mock-up. This is a draft, as it needs some editing. It's not going to look exactly like that because the edges and all that didn't come out the way they need to. But this is going to be fabulous, okay? And so what you're going to get, okay, if you book into this class today or before we launch the new version with all the new branding, then you can use the Steelers code. I reactivated it today. You can save $375 off of this class. So it takes it from being $499 down to $125, $124 and some change. And when the new books come out, rather than just the PDF version, which is what you get in the class, you will actually get the print copy signed by me. I'm so excited. Look, I'm just so excited. Y'all are going to love this. Y'all are going to love it. Okay, that is all I have for you today on our Get Paid to Create Part 2. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor for questions. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat. I tried to do this on Clubhouse instead of the free conference call, and nobody's in there, so I think I did it wrong. So I know they don't have any questions. I'm just going to leave quietly and end that room. But if you are online today, go ahead and drop it in the chat. That is not my photo. Thanks for asking. She cute though, but that's not my photo. No, although I might have resembled that 20 years ago. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? If you have any questions, now's the time to drop them in the chat. If you don't have any questions, that's okay. We'll just wrap things up and I'll get on back to resting for the rest of this amazing conference. But I want to encourage you today. Like Les Brown would say, there is greatness in you. And like Dr. Jonas would say, since greatness is possible, excellence is never enough. Go for greatness. I'm JJ Conway. I want to thank you all for being with me tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the content tonight. And if you have a business that you are doing in a craft sense, I hope that you will reach out and join with me so that I can help you elevate your life. The whole point of having a business is to create space and time and money and flexibility in your life so that you are available for the things and the people that you truly care about. All right, I'm going to end there. Y'all take care and be blessed.